Mic lock button is on. Mic trigger. Mic lock. Finish recording.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna make a video that I thought I need to make because a lot of people ask about my thoughts on the Make It workshop. So I did a video the other day saying how I started it and things, and now is a video on how I left and what I think of the Make It workshop now. If you watched, in fact, no, my other video hasn't actually come out yet, but when it comes out, I went to sort of how the great lengths of what it is now. And the Make It workshop now is a huge business. It's not a huge business, but it's a business. It's ran with money in mind. You know, everywhere's padlocked. You're not as welcome or felt welcome. And even though Sean has helped me out, the only place that's still got the community thriving in it is the bike shop, because Ray runs it. But I think the other guys that run those shops, they've come from a business background. You know, the big businessmen with big heads. And I know we've dissed Andy Orton and you know, bless you, mate, you know. I know we've dissed Andy Orton in the past. I know there's people that probably still don't get on with Andy Orton. But that's not, you know, that's not the reason. However, Andy Orton was not the reason, but was the reason. Because he was part of the politics. You got to mind that everybody worked in the Make It workshop was sucked into the politics of some form or other. I mean, everybody. The problem was the Make It workshop at the time was trying to be everything. And it still is that, but it's not what it was. It's like we can sell everything or do everything, have it as a business, whatever. But nobody's sucking in the skills. They're not on a shelf anymore. They're in a cupboard. I know this sounds a bit like the end of the video and what I'm going to say at the end of the video, but I want to come back to this because in the first video I said I was playing around with a record player, and I used to go in and play with the phones and play with the record players and stuff like that. And that's how I got into the shop. You know, I spoke to a guy called Bob. And I thought I'd leave Bob to this video because Bob was, and he's a complete different story. Like when the shop opened, it was going to be a museum as well as a shop. As Bob wanted that form. But what Bob wanted was, he was about volunteering, but he wasn't about the community. Ray was about the community, Bob wasn't. Now, I know Ray says Bob was about the community, but truth was, see, Ray has covered up for Bob for all these years. I really hope Sean hasn't subscribed to my channel. Anyway, I'm going to share this video on my Facebook, but I just hope I'm not going to take this down because this isn't that video. Okay, this is a very different one. In fact, I'm not taking any other video about the shop down, because I work there. You can't scrub that out. It's in black and white. I don't give a shit what anyone says. I worked at the shop. I worked there. And if somebody gave me the opportunity to manage a shop, I would. You know, I'd have Sean's job in Snap, because I would change it back to how it was. You know, fine, you can run it as a business, but I would have the community in the centre frame, because the community run, in my eyes, the community run that shop. It's not, you know, grumpy businessmen don't run the freaking thing. So, and then the arcade's like different, but it's, I mean, technically, I don't know if John and Sean have bought those parts of the shops. They probably have bought those units and whatever. The Make It Workshop was suffering. And it started with the politics, unfortunately. Now, I did a video about money in volunteering. And that was the place where I saw it. Now, I thought it was all pretty fair and square, because all the volunteers were treated pretty well back then. Nobody was treated unfairly. You know, we got lunches bought for us, we got drinks, toilet facilities, and in fact, you know, anybody could walk into those toilets. You could go off and get lunch if you needed it, but if you didn't have any lunch or whatever on your person, somebody would make sure that you had lunch or whatever. You know, Cranberry's Cafe were a bit of a nightmare, because we, you know, nicked their cups or whatever. Or the tap and bottles. Sometimes we'd nick a glass off them. But you see, like, I don't know, they're making sure that you are an outsider. I mean, I knew those units like the back of my hand. To anyone watching, this is not a subliminal message from that other video that I made. Just want to make that clear. But I also want to make clear, I've not forgotten. There's just one thing I want to make clear as well. I still know, I'll tell you something this, right? I know in John Savage's shop where the toilet is. You go through the little back bit, you go up the steps, and the toilet's on your right. But they don't want you to know where the toilet is, because that's supposed to be where the staff is. It's like, I mean, technically, if you need to know where a toilet is, Like, if you need a Wii in town, and what I used to do when I was going home from Muggle Radio, if I needed a Wii, I'd pop in the Make It workshop. I'd end up with, having a brew and speaking to somebody, but hey, that was what I did. Sometimes I'd sit in the Dalek, which has been outside the front of my house. But anyway, but why I left the shop and how I left the shop, it's been a video I've been putting off making for a while for you guys, because I'm thinking I'm in a nice quiet place. Technically, this is a good place to make this video, so I'll make it. It's a very difficult video to make because at the time, the people who managed the shop weren't helping me with my project because I wasn't making money from it. But it would have made money. It would have been a seller. Was I prepared to be a sellout? No. But I tried. And so I'd written Magic Silver Room, and on the point of editing, I'm actually going to show off the portfolio and another YouTube video so you can all go ahead and read it at some point. But so I started Magic Silver Room way before I did it in the shop. I thought I'll do it in the shop and include the shop in it, because it means I could take pictures of products, use their cameras, again, use their facilities, get into journalism and do it that way. Because I then became a journalist at the shop, so I kind of left the shop and came back as a journalist. And I got a desk and everything. And but then the problem was with the writers group. They paid £5 to use the facilities and everything, so the writers group got first call, first say, first everything. And so they should, because they're paying £5. And again, they probably won't get that say anymore because Sean's probably pushing people like that out the shop. I don't know. Like I said, this is a difficult video to make. But at the time, I could have made, or could have got money made from that project. Because I kept saying to Andy Orton, how much do you think I should charge? Because I'm saying, if I charge £3, well, Stephen, you should charge more. And then the Make It workshop will take this much and you'll get that much. And that was the plan. And now, I shall come back to now in a moment. And so I thought, okay, well, maybe I could print Magic Silver Room at the shop. So even when I did get it to the point where it was getting published and everything, they weren't prepared to print it. When we were ready to press print, they weren't ready to do it, and then they were like, well, no. And I was like, well, if you print it and then you can sell it, so you publish it and sell it at the same time. So I then had to try and sell everything through the Facebook page. And everybody was getting a hard time through the Make It workshop because my project wasn't taken seriously. So, but that's not, the other reason I left the shop was because at the Archeria Mini Brute story. I fell out with people over that because I was going to buy it and I didn't want people knowing where my pocket money was going. But I think people have seen the paperwork for that. Luckily, that all got sorted. I sold some decks which I didn't no longer need. I was selling them, and we managed to get a mixer and everything, so that all got sorted. Because I didn't want to let go of them, I was actually going to keep hold of them as spare decks, but then another thing as well, I lost a load of cassette tapes which I took to the Make It workshop to convert, and I lost a load of them. The ones that were in the case, I wasn't bothered about them. But the thing is, they didn't sell them, somebody just took them. I think I gave them to Martin anyway, I don't know what happened with them. I wasn't really bothered. And I had an old karaoke machine. No, not an old karaoke machine. I had something else which I was going to get fixed, and that got lost. Crumbs, we could be here all day talking about property that got lost. But it's not, I don't know, the thing is, like, you can't really market a community. It's a difficult thing to do. So the way you do it is you let them come in and you give them a go at running something. Like when I was DJing in the shop, I wasn't DJing, I was just playing music from my laptop into the amp. But when I was doing stuff, like I even converted cassette tapes for people in the shop. And if people gave me money for doing the CDs, I used to put a bit into the shop. So the money was going into the Make It workshop. So they did get that. And, you know, Lisa looked after us a few times. Nights out or whatever. I feel these people coming in the shop don't really understand. That's my take on it. They understand to a degree, but I think, you know, but it puts me off going in and buying something from them because, you know, you can't just go in and have a go of stuff. But I don't have too much of a dig because they fixed my cane. You know, but I think the CIC is a bit of a dirty word, you know, communal enterprise, because people get that mixed up with charities. But I read into communal enterprises and they run a lot better. They run so much better because the community will keep coming back and you leave the door open for them. Always leave the door open. you know. But the politics, like, who's getting paid and how are you going to get the money, and who's getting the money, where is it coming from? And when someone's found out there's a bit of money coming into to them, people want a slice of their pie. And then the volunteers think they can, you know, they're not going to get pushed around. But it's a choice on what you want to do. Anyway, I'm leaving it at that, and hope you've enjoyed this vid.
Mic trigger. Mic lock. Finish recording.